Hello everybody, John here, and today into the garage I'm starting a few jobs that I'm hopefully going to do over Christmas and just sharing a few bits and pieces in my garage with you. Well, my garage is a complete mess at the moment, and that's because I've been doing several jobs, primary amongst which is helping out my brother. He's got a VW T4 and we've just redone all of the bushes, linkages on his gear shift, which was so sloppy he was struggling to get into first and reverse. Second was just dicey, and we ended up doing that and then just chucking everything back in the garage, and it's all a little bit of a mess at the moment. But I thought, oh, I can get in for a few minutes and just start off my Christmas jobs. It's not going well so far, but I thought I'd share with you what's going on and what I've started on. I was hoping to share this little gizmo with you. It's a cloning remote. Get a bit of light, there you go. Tiny little remote control, and I'm hoping you can see on screen it's got a lock, unlock, what's probably a siren logo and a boot lid logo. And the concept of this is each of the individual buttons can be programmed to copy the remote signal of a remote or several remotes. And my plan was to clone 3 of the buttons off the XK8 remote, leaving out the headlight on off, which I never ever use, and the 4th button clone this, which is my garage door remote. So it's all in one place, it's new, and as we know you have to do regular little cleanups and restores on these, and they're very expensive to buy original equipment new. So by having that, which is nice and slim, I can make this last forever and incorporate that, and therefore cut down all my keys. Would be great, except instructions awful, really bad translation from, I'm guessing, Chinese into English. And just to share with you how bad the translation is, it can duplicate the majority of wireless remotes on market, blah 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 blah. Moving on down, steps and methods. Step 1, which I'm struggling with, clear. Press the 1st and 2nd key. At the same time as the key pressed, the light will flash and turn to destroy. When turned to flash again, loosen it. If clear successfully, as the moment, yeah, I mean, it's just dire. Also, I've looked at a few other people using these online, and everybody seems to have a different way of clearing the memory, and none of them appear to work with this. You're supposed to hold down top 2 buttons at the same time, then release one of them and hit it 3 times, and mine just won't clear, so rather irritated. It's not an expensive thing. I think I paid about £12 for that. If I can get it to work, I'll obviously share how, because I think it could be quite useful for us with the older XK8 separate key fob. Won't work with rolling codes, so later cars, probably not a good idea. Toilet roll holder. It's a random thing to have in your garage, but that's got to go in Ruby the A-Class Motorhome, and I'll get round to that as soon as I can. I've had lots of nice comments and inquiries about how I'm getting on. Have I managed to get the dent fixed in the boot lid, which I caused in a previous video, when I managed to leave the boot lid open and then use my lift to lift the boot lid into the rafters in my garage. Very, very annoying. So obviously the answer is no, but I've done all my investigations now. It can't be done with paintless dent removal folk. The crease, it doesn't really show up well on camera, is not deep, it's not big, but it is on a really quite small radius. It has also depressed the area below it, and the paint, when you look really close, you can see the kind of fine spider's web in it. It's cracked below the lacquer. And I have actually got another paint job that I needed doing, and that is down here, hence the bright light. I've got that bit of corrosion on the back edge of the sill. It's looked great until about 8 months ago probably now, and it just started bubbling up on that one line. It may be significant damage, but I suspect it is just going to be in a straight line down here, because it lines up with that return that collects all the rubbish. I think it's probably been repaired before. That might be where the weld has gone in. And yeah, my car is not fully original. It's certainly got some damage on it. But yeah, it looks pretty, except for that. Now, when it comes to putting paint on this car, I'm certainly not going to be spraying anything using rattle cans on the A surfaces, the bits that make it look pretty, because I'm not that good or confident. Also, the colour is called aquamarine mica, and it was only on cars for a couple of years. It's probably the most pearlescent of all the colours used on the X100. There's one of the greys has got quite a lot of pearl in it, and a couple of the American Victory editions have got a little bit of pearl in them. But this has got quite a pearlised effect, and what that means is it looks different colours in different lights. One of the reasons they dropped it was expense. One of the reasons they dropped it was complaints from customers who were incorrectly saying that the panels were different colours. And that was actually just down to the way the light strikes this car. The different angle makes it look a different colour. And depending on where I hold the camera, it probably looks like I've got a really bad respray. This is usually the bit that throws people off. And they think that this is an entirely different colour to this. It's just the angles are different, and it really, really shows up on a highly pearl car as different colours. And I love it, but I understand what's happening. Some people don't. The door here looks a slightly different colour to the rear wing, and that's just because the door is flat and the rear wing just starts to come out almost immediately. Plus, if it's been re-lacquered at any stage, modern lacquers are brighter, clearer than older ones. So yeah, painting a car in certain colours is an absolute nightmare. I was never going to do it. I asked for some recommendations from you folk, and I got several. Thank you very much. Followed up on a few of them, and I found a guy who's quite local by Lincolnshire standards. He's probably about 30 miles away, who's a Porsche, Mercedes and Jaguar restorer and painter, and has got a fabulous reputation. He's a nice guy. I enjoyed talking to him. And I started talking about this car, and he recognised the colour and was aware of the issues that it could give. So that gave me a lot of confidence he was the right chap to go with. So he is going to do me that repair towards the end of February. The car's booked in, and he's going to deal with this, and that will get pulled, it will get painted, it will get filled if necessary, and then it'll get a localised bit of colour blended in, but the entire boot lid will be re-lacquered to lose the join. He's going to put a little bit of additive in the lacquer to try and match 26-year-old lacquer and get the colours to match as well as they do now, which again, pearl makes it look a little bit odd. Equally, this area down here with the rust is going to be cut out. He's going to take the stuffing out of the sills. They've got like a foam insert, weld in new material, and then he's going to repaint this area and the blend and relacquering will actually cover the almost entire wing, so that we get this transition here correct. There is also a paint defect in my car. It's sort of here, and chances are you can't see it. If you can, great. And that's where a previous bit of lacquering has been done and the transition is not right. So that's all going to get addressed. So the rear corner of my car is going to see some love. The estimate for that is about £800, and I don't actually think that's bad at all. I wouldn't be surprised if it creeps up when you start cutting away at the bottom of the sill and discover what's really going on down there. But for a high quality job by somebody who knows what they're doing on a car like this, I think that's a pretty good price. I'm just going to get the roof off to show you the next little thing that we're working on. If you don't know, turn your key all the way to the left. It's in a previous Secrets of the XK8. Hold the button, hold the key still, and your roof will deal with itself. If you are left-hand drive, I don't know if you turn the key anti-clockwise or clockwise, but you can do your own experiment. You do have to hold it there for quite some seconds before it starts doing anything. And the next thing I've got to deal with has actually happened to me on a previous XK8, so I'm not particularly scared of it. Drop down the sun visor and you can see this thing flapping around. It should hold itself up, and it just about does in a fully open, but it's kind of flapping around, and if you've got the sun visor like that that's going to be quite irritating. So I've got a little bit of form with fixing these things, and you can see some blue tack stuffed into those grooves, which is my current attempt to stop it being irritating. The issue will actually be up in the top corner. There's a little, I guess you call it a cam, on the visor top, and there's a little bit of metal sticking out there, and that little bit of metal shouldn't be on show. It should be hidden away, so it'll need new little metal strips. I won't be buying them, I'll just make them. So that's got to come off, and that's going to be dealt with over Christmas. Nice little job actually, artsy and craftsy. So while I'm taking that off, I might deal with this issue where my top rail cover, as I don't know if it's just distorted or something inside it is not properly clipped on. It's always been like that, but I've never dealt with it. So I'm going to remove that and deal with that situation. I'm holding my camera and making dodgy camera shots, no doubt, because this is one of my little tripods and the leg has broke. It's supposed to have a wire armature inside so we can use it to grip things. It's a brilliant design of tripod in terms of functionality. Whoops. I'll show you the brand. It's not a cheap one. Photo Pro. It's a UFO 2. Obviously I make a lot of films, so I'm using this sort of thing all the time. I think this one lasted for about 18 months, 2 years of regular use every couple of days. And I had exactly the same model previously, and exactly the same thing happened after about 2 years. So, do I recommend this? As an actual tripod to use, it's lovely. Rubber legs, grips anything, very soft, sticky, grippy rubber, so it doesn't slide. It's actually nice to hold as a handle. Little ball gimbal at the top that you can slacken off, which on a lot of little tripods you've got to buy that piece, the screw on top, to give you a bit of articulation. But you know, that's, I don't know, £25 it could be, depending on where you buy it from. So a little disappointed with the longevity. So it'll be a Gorilla Pod next. Just gonna take you out of the garage and we're gonna pop round to see Ruby, the A-Class. Been doing loads of work inside Ruby recently on a little transformation project which I haven't shared any videos on yet. I do have footage, and that's going to get finished off over Christmas. Let me just get my security lock off. Boop, boop. Definitely having problems with the central locking on this. So another thing that needs sorting. And here's the main event. Those of you who know motor caravans or watch the films about Ruby will know there used to be an oven up here, and we've got a Dometic Tech Tower, they're called, which is a large fridge, a small freezer and a gas oven. But the gas oven is at head height, which means that if you're putting anything in it, you've got to lift it out head height. If you've got a pan or any oil in, it's a bit dangerous. Joe's rather shorter than me as well. So I've removed the oven. We hardly ever use it. I've installed 240 volt supply or main supply, tidied all this up, capped off the gas, and there's just a shelf to go in there, a couple of trim panels, and then that's going to have a motorhome specific microwave installed. So not for the faint-hearted is all I'll say. This does not come apart as easy as you would imagine. But very doable, and I will share a video on that as soon as I've got it finished. Alfie the T5 is looking particularly grim because lots of service over the last few weeks, getting the last few work jobs done, smashing out miles as always, doing great service. But she's got a little bit of a job needs doing, and that is on the passenger door. She's developed a little bit of wind noise that wasn't there before, and a couple of days ago when it was raining hard, Joe noticed that there was a little bit of water running down the inside of the glass. That means that the seal here wasn't doing its job. Now the seal is actually in really good condition, but when you close the door, there is a slight mismatch in level. I would say only a millimetre or so. The door is a little bit out compared to the back door, and you can actually push the door and see the change. So what's going on here is that the door latches on this, and this is not far enough in, or something has moved here. So it's a case of tighten these and then slacken off that, and use a hammer to tap it back before retightening them. And the only issue here was I didn't have the right multi-spline tool to undo that. I do have some multi-spline tools because Volkswagen are a bugger for using them more than anybody else. But I don't have a full set. So I bought myself a full set of spline tools. That's the brand I've got, XK8. And that will be a job done over Christmas. At first glance they're Torx, but they're not. There is more splines. So Volkswagen are very naughty, coming up with something that's not very standard, but that is their way. So those are M8 multi-splines for those of you who are interested. A job to do. My little assistant, Molly the Westie, has been in the wars a little, so we'll go and see her. And here's the little tinker. Hello! Say hello! Look, she's got a baldy eye. And that is because she had a little, I'll call it a wart, it wasn't, on her top eyelid. And it burst. She had an eye full of blood. And you barely noticed, but it looked horrific. So she's had a little operation. And they've cut that off and stitched her eyelid up. So that hopefully she's not going to have any more problems. But she'd been in a cone now for a couple of days, and I think you're ready to come out, aren't you? But Molly loves Santa. Say hello. Molly. Oh, bumping into things. So that's about it for now, guys. In a couple of days from when I'm filming this, it will be Christmas Day. So I'm hoping that all of you, wherever you are and however you celebrate or don't, you have a really nice break. You have a really nice Christmas holiday, if that's your thing. And importantly, that we all have a fantastic 2023, because we deserve it. More videos will be out soon, and I'm really looking forward to making them. But I really should clean the car. I really should tidy the garage. And I need to make space in case Santa brings me some more toys. Ooh. If you're enjoying our channel, then don't forget to subscribe and click the little bell icon so you get notifications of new videos. And please give us a thumbs up or thumbs down, and you can share the videos. And below the video is always the area where you can comment and get involved with the chat.